past haunts us all. Whether it be a person, place, or thing, we are reluctant to let go. We call to the dead out of desperation and intrigue, searching for answers about what lies behind the shadows. We are paranormal researchers. We are Necromancers. Hello, and welcome to the Necromancer Live Show. I'm your host, Justin Brown, and I'm presenting episode 60. Yes, you heard me right, 60, with Shawn Gilmore. Shawn is a really cool guy. I got to meet him for the first time at NonCon 6. That was really cool. Real quick, I'm going to read a bio to you guys so you can kind of get the gist about Shawn, but we're going to learn a lot more about him. Empath and paranormal investigator Shawn Gilmore of Stow, Ohio, had profound paranormal experiences during his youth and has led him on a journey of exploration into the paranormal world to achieve a deeper understanding of his empathic abilities. Recently, Shawn has transitioned from team manager of EctoVision Paranormal into co-founder and lead investigator of OMPR. Shawn has investigated numerous residences, businesses, and famous locations, but he feels most helpful when investigating residences. He believes in most cases that by bridging the communication gap between the living and the spirits, he and his team are able to help their clients coexist with the spirits in their homes together. Before we start the interview with Shawn, we are going over there and introduce the chat moderators. Let me bring up that screen now. Jess, Missy, what's up?
Same as yesterday.
Same as yesterday. Okay.
Trying to stay awake.
Trying to stay awake. So you're in the same boat I am. Are you ready for tonight's show?
Yeah.
All right. If you people and folks in Facebook land have any comments or questions for Shawn, you put them down there in the comments section below. Periodically, we'll get back to you. If you're in YouTube land, Jessica will ask Shawn your questions and shout you out. So, Jessica, are you ready?
I am.
Good. Great. Let's get the show on the road. Shawn, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
I am ready. I got coffee going inside my body. So, theoretically, I should be energized and ready to do this interview with you.
Nice. Well, I have about 2 more hours left of my 5-hour energy, so I should be okay.
We only need 1 hour of that 2 hours, so let's do this. Shawn. Okay. In your bio, you had to give me a longer bio, and it kind of went into somewhat of a story where you had experiences in your youth. Let's go back to the origins of your journey through the paranormal. I know a lot of people will go through their whole lives without having any paranormal experiences to speak of, but that's not your case, is it?
It's not. No. I've actually had experiences since I was a child, and it really all started out when I was really young. I grew up as a child in Shaker Heights, and my best friend lived in the house right behind me. And both of our houses were built by the same guy. And one day, I don't know, we were like playing soccer or something outside, and we were talking. We both realized that weird things happened in both of our houses. And we both went to the library and we both started reading books. I mean, this is back in 1980 something. And so that's all we could do. There was no internet. So that's when I discovered when I first saw the Gray Lady. And that's pretty much where it started. And then little did I know that my family and I would be moving to a condo in Chagrin Falls, Ohio, that had more activity than a lot of places that I've investigated. So that actually a lot of that is in a book that just came out by Haunted Road Media, by Mike Ricksecker, a good friend of mine. And he puts together a book, a compilation of different experiences that people have in the paranormal. And actually, I put a lot of that stuff in there. And it's probably the first time I put everything together all at once. Because usually, you tell it by like one little bit of it at a time. But there was that place. It got to the point where I was scared. I was scared to be at home at times. I was scared to go home at times. And back then, by this time, when it was really bad, I was probably about 18, 19. And still at that time, late 90s, probably like 98, 90, 99, around that time. And it's still around that time. On the Discovery Channel, they would have some shows about the paranormal, but nothing like what's been around in the past 20 years. So I really didn't know where to go. And I was getting advice from people, and it wasn't always good advice. And I would always follow the advice exactly to the T. So I probably made things worse on my own too. But I don't know how much detail you want me to get into, because I could go on and on about it.
Well, why don't we talk a little bit about probably the most profound experience that you had in the home in Ohio?
Okay. So to kind of lead into it a little bit, okay? I got to the point where I was uncomfortable to sleep in my bedroom. So I would sleep on a couch in the living room, and a friend of mine told me if I put sea salt around where I sleep, it'll protect me. It didn't so much. One night I was sleeping on the couch, and I was attacked in my sleep. It's just hard for me to explain. I was sleeping, and as I was sleeping, I felt like something was trying to get into my body. And I told myself as I was sleeping, I got to get up. And I fought to get up, and I fought. I felt like I was fighting for my body, my soul. And so I literally, in this dream, I woke up 3 times before I woke up sitting up screaming. And I was just like, I couldn't, the way that I felt, it just wasn't right, even after, in the couple days after. And now, as I'm investigating, it's very close to what I would call as being the paranormal hangover. That when you're drained for a couple days after an investigation, that's, looking back, that's what I would compare that to. That words can't describe how an experience like that is. That was probably the most terrifying thing that happened, and that's the only time that something like that happened, that I was attacked in my sleep.
Joe Vitale mentioned sleep paralysis in the comments. Did it have any similarities to that, or is it different?
I wouldn't compare it to sleep paralysis, because it felt like I was awake and I couldn't move. It was like I was in this sleep-like state, and I was fighting to get out of it, and I was fighting from letting something in my body.
Did you see what was trying to get in?
No. I think I was too scared. I didn't really look for it. I just knew what I felt, and I just was fighting to not let that get in me, I guess. I don't know a better way to explain that.
Right. So you would probably try, if you were going to explain it using sleep paralysis, you would have probably like, okay, well, I had a disturbance in my sleep cycle, or I had other episodes like that. So that wasn't the case, right? This was an isolated incident.
Listen, I never experienced anything like that. I would have some pretty crazy dreams, but never anything like that. That was the one and only time anything like that has ever happened.
Okay. That's interesting. So you mentioned that you had experiences in California and then you had experiences in Ohio, right?
No. I was in my bio. I just mentioned I was born in California.
Oh, okay.
Because
so you don't really have any memory of. Okay.
I have memories of California. Just they're not related to the paranormal.
Okay, but you had two different homes where you were experiencing things. So the point I'm getting at is, you think you because of that, you're sensitive to what may be in different locations more so than other people living there, or in general.
I don't know if it's because of that. I honestly didn't even know what an empath was until I met a psychic named Laura Lynn years back. But it was also years after I lived there in Chagrin. And she actually showed me. She didn't tell me I was an empath. She showed it to me. And actually, the way that she did that was we were at she would put on these events, psychic, like reading, and then a public ghost hunt afterwards. Well, this event had only, I think, 5 of us that showed up. There was very few of us. And so she decided that we would do a 1-card reading on each other around this table. So I had started to do, it got to me, and I started to do a reading on this woman. And I was describing these feelings and these emotions, and then I became overwhelmed with these emotions. And Laura Lynn actually had to help ground me. I didn't realize that's what she was doing at the time, but she helped grounded me and she pulled me out of it. And she looked me straight in the eyes and she like, Shawn, you're an empath. And I was like, what's that? And she explained it to me, and I did research and I started meditating, and ever since then, so many more things make sense with that. So I don't know if that comes from growing up in a home that have activity, or if it's something that's passed along. My mom, she's somewhat of an empath as well. She just hasn't really done the meditation and the work to grow, but she has a lot of similar types of experiences that I've had. So, like with the empathic, that's.
Well, the reason I asked that, Shawn, is in most cases, if someone isn't very sensitive at all, if they go to a place that's active, they may experience some things because that place is active. But I have an intuition that you can go pretty much anywhere and experience much more than someone who isn't sensitive or an empath would, just based on your abilities. So that's what that part of the research and that curiosity I have. And when I talk to people, is that something you've considered? Do you think that, pretty much anywhere you go, you may have, a spectrum of experiences just based off you being an empath? Uh-oh, he froze. That's a hell of a face to freeze on, Shawn. We'll see if he comes back.
With me.
Okay. We had a lag spike.
Oh,
go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Go ahead and repeat that.
So, with being an empath, I do think that being an empath does make you a little bit more susceptible to paranormal activity. I think that I don't even know if susceptible is the right word. I think you're just
more aware.
You're more prone to it. You're more aware of it. Exactly. And that's probably all it really is. So yes, I feel like I would probably sense something that others would not. There's And it happens. I can go to a restaurant. I can go to a friend's house. I can go to and really anywhere. And then there's other places that make it even harder for me. That places like hospitals. Hospitals are really hard for me. When my kids were born, it was having to walk through the hospital and everything. It was just, it was really hard. And I could literally feel spirits following me. And actually, when at my old job, we would go and do a fair for a local hospital, Akron Children's Hospital. And we're doing a tour. Now, keep in mind, I'm on a tour with VPs, SVPs, and other higher ups within my company getting this tour of the hospital because we're putting on this fair for the kids. And during this fair, during the walkthrough they're giving us, we're walking down this hallway right before where the kids, where a lot of kids are. I just started crying. And I couldn't stop. I literally had to go around the corner away from them, and I had to be like, "Look, you need to stop. I'm with very important people for my job. I will help you as soon as we're done with this tour, but I can't be doing this in front of the people, and I don't want to be crying in front of these kids." And but it's just, it can just hit you just like that. And there's other times when at work, all of a sudden, I could feel like a family member of mine died. And when something like that happens, it's hard because you don't know if it's a feeling of your own or someone else's. Because I've had other experiences where I've had similar feelings and it became true. So when I get feelings like that, it's very hard for me. But it's about, you have to learn what's yours and what's not. Because if you can't figure that out, it's a world of hurt. And I mean, and the only way you can do that is through working on yourself and meditating and doing a lot of grounding. But it's something that once you're aware of it, you really need to learn how to live with it day by day.
Right. Yeah. We'll talk more about that and some other things, especially how you deal with it at certain locations. But before we do that, let's do some shout outs. Go through any of the questions that we've gotten so far for Shawn.
You want me to go first?
Yes.
Please. Okay. I've got, let me see. I've got Bill Davis. I've got Matt Benton. I've got Joe Vitale. I had Joe Vitale. Josh Bender, Derek Schreiner, Christy, Heather, Elliott. Got Deb Schneider. I've got Marilyn. I've got Chris Sanders. I've got Melissa Howe. I've got Philip Wyatt and Joe Ward. John Ward, yeah. Becky asked, do you not block or protect yourself when you know you are going to be exposed to heavy energy?
I do. I have to. When I first started opening up, I didn't realize the importance of having to shield every day and having to block every day. I have to. Luckily, I have switched employers since I had that one experience. This place is a lot easier than the last place.
He's lagging again. Sorry, guys.
Went out?
Yeah, just for a second there.
Is that my connection?
You're good now.
But yeah, I have to. I learned the hard way that I have to every day.
What's interesting to me, my empathic abilities, it's different. It kind of goes by your ability, your attention span, and how you pay attention to things. Like for me, if I'm filming or investigating, I will focus. I have blinders on, and I will focus so hard on the equipment, getting things ready, micromanaging everything, making everything right and on time. I will be oblivious to the energies. Once I stop doing that and I only focus on maybe what the story the tour guide's given me or just the area or the location I'm in, that's when it just floods in. And I've found that I have to step away from doing that quite so much so I can open up myself, because sometimes you can block it out way too much and you don't even mean to. So I think it's interesting how different it is, person to person when it comes to that.
I'm not really able to block it out. Working with EctoVision, we would work with a lot of equipment, and we'd be working with the production on our investigations. And to me, I get a feeling, and it's just like, I mean, I have ADHD. You hear that joke, squirrel. Well, it's kind of like the same thing, but with a feeling or an emotion. So, yeah, and I definitely. I keep on investigations. I keep myself more open, but more heavily shielded and protected in different ways.
We'll go into what you do, because I get, especially with the show. I think you were watching yesterday. There was a lot of people asking me what to do, so we'll get your opinion on that. But before we do, let's go to YouTube and have Jess do the shout outs, and I'm sure there's questions on there. Shawn.
Absolutely. We have Sam Thomas Gilmore, Paranormal World Investigators, Truth Paranormal, Weiss, Spirit Stalkers, Val, Christy Brown, BPG, and Scotty. And there has been, I'm just trying to find it real quick. I just go to the last one. Val, which I know you guys are going to talk about this in a little bit. Val says she uses crystals, smudging, grounding, breathing meditation. I'm just curious about what you do.
Okay.
I know you said you're going to talk about that. Scotty asks, do you want to be an empath?
Interesting question.
It's a very interesting question. Sometimes, no. When I'm investigating, yes. That's my honest answer. There's times when being an empath is really hard. I recently went to one of my best friend's father's funerals, and there's only so much shielding and grounding you can do. Times like that, I don't want to be an empath. So that's the honest answer.
Okay. I think that's it. I think everything that was asked on the chat, you already answered, or we will be getting to it.
Okay. Shawn, let's go into how you specifically protect yourself from energies. What items do you use? What methodologies? What do you do? Break it down for the folks listening.
Okay. First, right here, this is called an Apache tear. I wear one around my neck. This is actually made by a friend of mine, Vanessa Hogel. I carry crystals. They're in my pocket now. I use my crystals right there. I do a lot of, before, on a normal day, okay, I ground myself and I shield and I give myself the intention of not letting anything negative in. And I actually kind of imagine, I don't know if imagine is the right word, but the intention of my shield is so that it's mirrored, so that negative energy bounces off of me and I don't get it. I've learned to do that since that one day that I felt like a family member of mine died at work. And on an investigation, actually, I'll do shielding again, but only I create the shield as a glowing white. So I'm more, I want to be inviting. I want the spirits to want to come and talk to me. So it's about building that intention. And I guess I kind of use the colors and I use the mirror as a way of visualizing the intention, if that makes sense. Now, before I go on investigation, I go through, before I do any shielding or anything, I go through a set of prayers that I do. I pray to my spirit guides, and then I'll go and I pray to Archangel Michael, and then I pray to God and ask for all of their protection. And with the crystals, what I do with them is, as I feel like I need, depending on what I need, if I feel like I need to be more calm, or even if my back starts to hurt, I'll take out my amethyst. And I'll kind of just like rub it. Or sometimes I'll just hold on to it in my hand. And that's really why I have this Apache tear. If I feel like there's something negative around me, this Apache tear, this one in particular, has helped me and other people out of what could have been pretty serious situations. Now, the thing is about going the metaphysical way with these crystals is you really need to believe that these stones can help you. Now, they're aids. They don't give you extra powers. They're aids. They help you. So that's how I use them. Now, I also sage. I sage myself. I sage my home. I sage my car. And I probably do all of that about once a month. Now, if I'm feeling a special kind of way, then I will sage more. And after an intense investigation, I'll sage after the investigation. I've tried saging before investigations, and I mean, it's great, especially for, you're going to come across something negative. But when investigating, I try to keep in mind that I want to experience these things. That's why I do it. It's to learn it and to understand it better. So I try not to, because to me, a lot of all of this, intention is key. Intention is key, and you have to believe in what you're doing and what you're saying. You can call upon all the angels that you want, Archangel Michael. You can call, I don't feel like listing all of them right now, but it doesn't matter if you don't believe in it. You could be Catholic. I'm now Catholic too, and I use Catholic prayer when I'm praying, and it's not going to work if you don't believe in it. So you got to have that right intention. You have to believe in what you're saying and what you're doing.
Yeah, and that's definitely what I preach and teach people. The faith that you have and the belief system behind what you do is key. That's why a lot of different things work, and there's really no right or wrong answer. It all lies in your belief. And I like what you said, that the stones and all the materials that you use are tools. I like to describe them as objects to focus your intent. So that, if you look at it like that, is you're kind of channeling and focusing your intent while holding that stone or burning that that herb or saying that prayer. Okay, and if you're just doing it just to mimic it, not going to work. If you're doing it and you believe in it profoundly, it will have effects. Now, it's not like some type of spectacular 100% magic. You can't like pray, Jesus, please land $5 billion in my hand. That's not how it works. So that's why a lot of skeptics like to pick things like that apart. What is your take, before we go back to chat, on how things work when it comes to intent? Why is it that you can't just have, some concrete manifestation, like give me money now and it's happening? Like what is your belief behind how it works versus what people think it works, how it works?
See, that's tough. I personally don't know if you could ever pray for $5 billion and end up with $5 billion. Something like that. But when you are when you're dealing with something like the supernatural or the paranormal, your intention is key. If you go in with a negative intention, you go in provoking, and guess what kind of interaction you're going to get? You're going to get that negative interaction because you came in with that negative intent, and that's what you asked for. So that's what you get. So if that kind of makes sense. And actually on EctoVision, we got a comment on our Monroe House investigation saying, "Oh, it's nice to see normal activity. You guys need to learn how to investigate demons." I read that comment, and I was just like, I was kind of floored by it. I'm like, really? Okay, so you're going to go to a demon, you're going to go to his face, and you're going to say, "Hit me, dude. Is that what you want?" That's, for me, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking to antagonize. I'm not looking to make them angry. I'm looking to understand. And that's the intent that I put out. So I feel like that's important. I think that the reason why I'm so against provoking is because in that Chagrin Falls apartment, when I was attacked, I would provoke. I didn't know what provoking was, but I would provoke. I was told by a friend who was Wiccan, and she said, "Shawn, if you tell the ghost or the spirit that they're not allowed in your home, or they're not allowed in your room, you tell them that they're not welcome here, and you close the door and they can't come in." So in my teenage mind, I turned that into, when I got home, "Get the F out of my room. You're not welcome here," slamming the door shut. And but a lot of it was because I was fed up and I was angry, but I would yell and I would cuss at it, and I paid a pretty big price because of it. So I won't do it on investigation. That's not what I want. That's not why I do it. So intention is key. And if you want something good to happen, you put out the positive vibe. You put out the positive intention. You want to pay attention to what you're doing. You get what you put out. So I guess that does go for everything.
Yes. We're going to get back to the Monroe House because that's definitely in the future of further research for me and my group. But let's go back to the chat, catch up on the questions, and then we'll get back to that.
Okay, I got Bill Davis said he doesn't ever feel anything on investigations, and it's rare for him unless it's strong, and then he gets spooked.
Okay.
That just reminded me of Josh. Something Josh Bender would do right there.
If my response to Bill is, if you're seeking to become more open, surround yourself with people to help you do that seriously. The more you try to not grow spiritually, the more you'll stay in that state. I believe that anybody can change their sensitivity and their awareness to spirit energy or anything out there to be aware of. It's all about alter your perception. And I'm not talking about your imagination. I'm actually talking about, letting some boundaries down and exploring different states of consciousness and awareness. And that is a thing. Any questions for Shawn?
Yeah. Becky asked, do you have premonition dreams?
Not really in my dreams. I mean, when I was younger, I would get deja vus very often, but that to me is something that's very different. So not in a dream. I get these feelings, and I've had when I was younger, I was a young kid. I went to overnight camp. I was brought up Jewish. I went to an overnight camp for a month out of the summer. And this one year, the Sabbath was on Friday. And so in the Jewish religion, during the Sabbath, you don't use any extra energy. You're not really supposed to do much of anything on the Sabbath. And even though my family wasn't very religious at this camp, they were. So we could go 4th of July fireworks. So instead, they had us do this meditating. And so we're in this big cabin thing. They have us do this meditating thing. And then all of a sudden, I got a feeling that there was something wrong at home. I wasn't homesick or anything like that. I had a feeling that there was something wrong at home, to the point where I got up, I left the cabin, I told the counselor, I need to call my house. I don't know why. I need to call home. There's something wrong. And they wouldn't let me because of kids getting homesick. So they had strict rules about kids calling home because we're gone for so long. And so I sat on the side of this hill, just trying to understand this feeling that I had, and just thinking how badly I wanted to call home. So eventually it did pass. And when my mom came and picked me up from the camp, she was driving my great-grandmother's car. And I knew right then and there what happened. My great-grandmother passed away at her kitchen table alone of a heart attack. And so, I mean, that to me is the closest type of thing as a premonition I've ever had. I've had other kind of connections like that before with death too, but never a premonition. I don't see the future or anything like that. I've had visions in that state right before you fall asleep. I've had visions, but nothing that was a premonition.
Okay, and then Becky wanted to know, do you think that's part of being an empath or more?
Having premonitions, I think that's a little bit more than being an empath. Being an empath means that you feel people's energies and you feel energies around you. So if you're having premonitions, then maybe you should look further and try and grow your abilities a little bit more past being an empath.
My definition of premonitions is precognition. It's awareness of future events, and that's different from feeling emotions and taking on emotions from other people and other entities. And you can also, empaths are very good at picking up a residual in imprints of energy as well. So it's a psychic ability, but a different subset.
And that's all I have for right now.
Okay, YouTube.
Okay. I think we have a lot of empaths in the chat. Paranormal World Investigating wanted to know, if you are a empath, what crystals would you suggest? What do you carry? What type of crystals?
Well, he did mention what he carried.
I mentioned a couple. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Sorry.
Was there ones that you didn't mention?
Yeah. I carry a citrine. I carry a cat's eye. Hold on. Let me see what I have in my pouch now. That one. Amethyst and the Apache Tear are my two favorites. I carry a quartz crystal. That's my cat's eye. What else do I have in here?
Probably selenite.
This is a rough citrine. Then I forgot what this one's called. I know it's for grounding, but I don't know. One problem that I have is I'm not as good at explaining things as you, Justin. You're so good at explaining things. That's what makes your show so great. And then when I'm tired, I don't think of words. So
that happens to me too. You're not alone.
But yeah.
Yeah, but we will reiterate the importance. It's not what other people use or really what you use. A lot of people think, okay, what stones do what I need them to do? What I would suggest for people when they want to use those metaphysical tools is go to a gem shop or a rock shop or whatever you do, a crystal shop, and find things that find you. Try to, feel them all out. Okay. Once you do that, you will get, some type of vibration or some type of intuition about what you think that you need. And once you develop that intuitive bond with whatever rock or crystal that you see there, it could be the look of it, could be the feel of it, it could be warm in your hand, it could buzz in your hand. That is a good indicator. So once you develop that bond, then it's easier for you to have faith and channel your intent on what you're trying to achieve. It's not important. It's not like some secret recipe that you need to learn. I think Shawn would agree with that, right?
100%.
Okay, so just go out there and, reach out with your heart. Anything else on YouTube?
No. That's it.
Okay. Well, Shawn, Monroe House is very interesting. A lot of people go in there and they're intrigued and fascinated with the stories of the demonic, stories of the occult that went on there. They'll go in there and with the intention of dealing with those entities. And with that intention, usually they get activity like that. But what's interesting, and someone like you, for example, will go in there without so much that intention of finding certain entities and energies like that, you don't get that. So why do you think that is? Do you think the Monroe House kind of is a factory of energy that you're looking for? It gives you what you're looking for in a way.
With the Monroe House?
Yes.
I'll tell you what. The Monroe House is... I've never been into a home like the Monroe House. That place is insane. As an empath, my first intuition as I laid my feet on the ground was I felt like I was on a cemetery. I feel like with that place, you're going to get what you put out. And it's not necessarily because it's going to mimic your intentions. I think that what's there is very strong. And what's there, I feel like it gets angry. If you make it angry, it's going to let you know. And that's when you get that activity that's going to make you think that it's demonic. I don't necessarily think that what's there is demonic. I feel like that it's not from our world. I feel like it might be something that's interdimensional. I feel like it's probably something that was brought in by people doing things with, like the Ouija board, and messing with things they don't understand and not closing their sessions properly. Whatever is there is very strong. And I feel like if you're respectful, it'll respect you. If you're not respectful, then you're going to get what you get.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What is I find the most interesting about the Monroe House is there are some energies there that seem like they're trapped. Did you ever pick up on anything like that there?
Yes. Yes, I personally think that whatever that, when you go in there, it's like the different areas of the house, they all have kind of like different feelings. It's almost like there's certain like spirits. I feel like what's upstairs is, I feel like those are an intelligent haunt. Those are intelligent spirits that are up in the upstairs. What's down in the first level home, I feel like whatever that is what's keeping those other spirits there. That's my intuition. That's, I guess, what I feel out of there. And I slept there, and I explained that I have these like visions as I'm going to sleep. Well, I had just said a little prayer to kind of protect me and the people that were in the room. I was with Amber Wellman, my co-founder, and I was with John Ward and his wife Hillary Ward from Ohio Paranormal Syndicate, and we were in the like what's used as a safe room, and I was laying down on the couch, and everyone else was kind of laid out sporadically throughout the room, and I said this prayer, and I felt great. I felt at ease, and then just as I was falling asleep, I like had one of my visions. I got up from the couch and I walked over by the main entranceway, and I saw a very tall being sitting in a chair. He had long legs, long arms, and it was bald, except he had a hat on, which I thought was weird, and he had like gray markings on his face. It looked like it could have been scars. I'm not quite sure, but it had this big grin, like a big smile, and it was just sitting there like with his arms up on the chair like this. And I don't feel like it was trying to scare me, but it scared the crap out of me. I didn't sleep pretty much the rest of the night. I would doze off here and there just because I was so tired, but that really affected me, and actually seeing that affected me for days. And what's interesting is pretty much probably about an hour before we went to bed, we had an experience in the basement where we were trying to, we're doing an EVP session. And we were asking questions. We started asking if there's Native Americans. And then all of a sudden we got this really, really high pitched, like a cricket, except like a really, really loud cricket. And we all kind of like let our emotions run high, and we found these like bones on the bottom of the steps, and that kind of like added to it. And so I was like, wait a minute, we got to take a step back. Went outside, took a step back. I was like, okay, guys, I don't know what that noise was that we heard, but we may have upset something. So I made an offering. I put it in a little cup because I didn't have anything else to put it in, but I made an offering of sage and tobacco, and I put it on the steps there. And after that, things seemed to be okay until that moment right before I fell asleep.
I'm an Aries, Bill, just like Missy. They're asking me my sign. Yeah, I think there's a lot of energy being put into that location that isn't not there naturally. A lot of people go there, they put their own energies into the place, and it interacts with what's there, and that goes for a lot of locations that are investigated a lot. And what do you think your the ethics are when letting people go in there and investigate and really not keeping some groups and some methods in check? Like, what is your take on that?
You know, my take is the owners can. It's their building. I try not to judge. This is not a home that people are living in. It's used for paranormal research. And the thing is that one day, all of this that they're doing, it's going to have to be dealt with. It's going to have to be taken care of in one way or another. But right now, they're just they do let people in there and do things. And I've seen videos that people have posted of the Monroe House and things that they do there. And, you know, as long as those people have the permission from Eddie and Pam, then whatever. That's my take on it. You, like I said, you get what you put out, and if that's what you want to do, that's on you. To me, the paranormal is not the X Games. I'm not trying to outperform. I'm not trying to do tricks. I'm just trying to understand. I don't want that. I don't want that negativity in my life. That's not what I'm here for. Now, if I come across that negativity, I'll deal with it, but I'm not going to go out looking for it. So you want to go out there, do the Ouija board and not do it properly, then you reap what you sow. And eventually Eddie and Pam are going to have to deal with it too, unfortunately, I think.
Yes, I agree. I don't want to forget to have you mention your team members and their roles in the group real quick before we wrap up the show.
Oh, definitely. Well, we are Ohio Metaphysics and Paranormal Research. My co-founder is Amber Wellman. She's more sensitive than I am. She actually sees spirit, and I don't really know how to explain. She takes like being an empath to like a whole nother level where she can be like almost overwhelmed by whatever is around her. But maybe she just doesn't shield herself. I don't know. But she with experiences is insane. But it's great working with her, and I've learned a lot from her. She's an awesome person, and she's also going to be doing our case management, helping deal with our clients and getting to know our clients before we go and investigate. Then we have Chris Rowan. He also came from EctoVision with us. He's our team spiritualist. He has a background in a lot of different religions, and he's very, very spiritual, and he's going to help our team when it comes to other cases. Like I mentioned a case that he helped us with before. I came across a case it was right when EctoVision was splitting up. A friend of mine came to me just about a chair, and that chair is actually now at Madison Seminary. But chair was a voodoo doll. And so that was an interesting case. And Chris helped us take care of this voodoo doll properly. So because the voodoo doll belonged to a child. That's a whole long story, which we don't have time for, but Chris helped us to deal with that properly. And so he's our expert for that. He's also our IT, our lead IT expert. He's the guy working on getting our website up right now, and it does a number of other things. And then we have Robin and Justine. Those two women, they're sisters, and they are two of the nicest ladies you'll ever meet. And they've been into the paranormal for a very long time. They haven't really been in the paranormal community, but they're going to do our historical research. I know that they're going to put their best foot forward in doing the research on these homes and helping us really get into these, figuring out and helping out these people. Steve. Man, Steve is an awesome guy. He actually has a show that he does of his own. He has 20 years of experience in the paranormal. He's a very devout Catholic, and he comes from a team called St. Michael Paranormal, and they actually had a priest that worked with them. So he brings on so many different great outlooks and things that'll help us out as well. So we're a team that's built to help people in their homes and their private businesses. Amber and I handpicked everybody, and we're very lucky to get most of the people that we asked the first time. We just know that to do a home investigation, it takes more than just going in and doing EVP sessions and setting up some cameras and saying, okay, yeah, your house is haunted. Okay, bye. Deal with it on your own, right? That's what I've seen happen a lot. And when I was on EctoVision, we did a little bit more than that, but not much. And so Amber and I, we have put together a plan on how we can really help these people. And it's going to be, each case is going to be more than just one investigation. It's going to be more than one weekend. It's going to be months of research for each home. And that's the way it really needs to be. And that's how we're going to do it.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that, Shawn. There, a lot of groups can learn from what you just said, and I've myself have learned from experience, and I think that all teams will get to a point whether they don't want to mess with homes or they feel more inspired to do homes once they learn what it takes to do them. And like you said in the beginning, it takes a certain type of person to want to help those people, in the long haul, because that's what they find out, that's what it takes. So if that's something that you don't want to do, you need to find out pretty early, because you can leave a mess for people in their homes when you go in there. People break out spirit boxes and do EVP sessions, and they turn their home into a lab, and that's not what they're experiencing.
Right.
They're not turning on recorders and turning on radios and getting
Right.
voices. They see something in the hallway manifest. They may, hear these bangs, or, you're there to help figure out explanations for things. And then the things that you do find out that are supernatural, you got to learn how to deal with them. You're not there to really collect, evidence and, for your archive. You're there to, yes, if you find evidence, what are you going to do about what's causing that? Because most of the time they're bringing you in because it's disturbing them. Sometimes they're just curious, but you really, really want to prioritize the ones that are being disturbed. And what do you do? So that's great. That's awesome. Before we wrap up, let everybody know how they can follow along with your cases and your research that you do and all the events that you go to. Go ahead and I put your guys' page link in the description of the video, but go ahead and tell them how they can check out your stuff.
All right. Well, we've had some issues with getting the website up. We have purchased our domain, but we don't have the website up. But once it is up, it will be OMPR330.com. But it's not up yet. Don't go looking for it. It won't come up with anything. And I will be posting it and keeping updates. But the easiest, best way to find us is on Facebook. That's where we're the most active right now. So other than that, the way that we're going to be sharing our findings is we're not going to be doing videos. We're going to do it through literature. That's the goal anyways. We want to put, like this book that I explained earlier with my story, it's a compilation of other stories. Well, we want to put together a book on our cases. So we'll see. That's our goal. That's our end game and of course we have to get the permission of our clients to be able to do something like that. So like I said, that's our goal. And as long as everything goes as planned, maybe in a year or two, we'll have that book out. That's really where we want to be. Our goal isn't to really outshine anyone. There's so much stuff on YouTube and everything. I mean, coming from EctoVision Paranormal, I think maybe that's where a lot of it's coming from. You know, we did big, huge productions and everything, and we're ready to go out and experience the paranormal and back in the more natural way, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Shawn, for coming on the show. It was awesome to meet you at Post Town. You know, it's always great to meet people that you know on Facebook and the internet in person.
Right.
You know, it just makes it seem more real. You know, you get to physically shake their hand and feel their energy in a much more pure, raw way. And that was awesome that we got that opportunity. And I hope that we can meet up again and work together.
Definitely. You know, Josh Bender and I are always talking about getting together. Man, you got to come along too.
All right. Well, I talk to a lot of investigators, as you know, and I try to work with as much people as I possibly can. I am a very busy person right now, and it's my fault. Okay, it's my fault.
Right.
But you were in Ohio, so I'm going to have to prioritize the Ohio natives with the collabs and with working together. So we're going to try to get together in 2019 and make that happen. Okay, Shawn?
Sounds good to me.
All right, buddy. I'm going to wrap up the show. If you want to hang out on the video call, you can. If you want to hang up, you can. But thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. It was an honor.
All right. Thank you. All right, folks, there you have it. Shawn Gilmore. Check them out on Facebook. The link's in the description. Their website will be up soon, so follow the Facebook page and get that update when it comes out. I'm looking forward to all the good work that they have coming in the future. All right, guys, well, let's do this. We're going to go over to the links right here. The website. Please check out the website at www.interfacedeath.net. Check out our Patreon. We're going to talk more about Patreon in a little bit, but if you want to help support what we do in our paranormal work financially and get rewarded for it, go to patreon.com/support Interface Death and figure out that stuff. Follow Necromancer Live Show on Facebook, and you can follow Interface Death on Twitter and Instagram if you want a quick update on Twitter, or if you want some nice photography on Instagram, that's cool as well. Patreon is what keeps this going. The live shows, the live investigations, the scientific and paranormal research that we do would not happen without the support of Patreon. Clay Borman, RJ Murphy, Danette Goldtrip, Jessica Bias, Scotty Fox, Sherry Brett, and Bill Davis are all making this possible, and you could too. If you check out the rewards, the tiers, they're over on our Patreon page at patreon.com/support Interface Death. You can get promo codes to our merchandise. You can get, discounts on, our DVDs and merchandise. You can get all kinds of special cool features. I don't want to tell you everything because I want you to go check it out. So thanks again for those patrons. They are really, really very nice. And, I can't find words to describe how much I appreciate them. So you guys are awesome. So I'm going to leave it there. I have a brand new show that's going to be on Live Paranormal. If you have not checked out the Live Paranormal Facebook page and liveparanormal.com, go do that after the show, because I got a brand new format and show coming out on that page. It's going to be called the Supernatural Symposium. I'm going to interview a panel of a paranormal investigator, a psychic, and a skeptic, and hopefully we're going to have a respectful, intelligent interaction between the two, get some diverse points of view and feedback on certain topics in the paranormal, and hopefully that'll help build some trust and respect and strengthen the paranormal community through that format. So I'm really excited for that show. The first show should be December 3rd. It's going to be Mondays from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. So follow us on social media and go to interfacedeath.net and subscribe to the mailing list so you can get all those updates and never miss it. Thanks again, guys, for joining us. All the people that join us each and every week, thank you very much. Your support is very much appreciated. I'm going to sign off. You guys have a good night. If you're a first-time listener or watcher, check out the video promotions. As always, at the end of the show, you have a good evening. I will see you next time.
What was that?
I don't know. I feel like I can't breathe in this room.
Generally, Justin, when you guys investigate, do you just take long pauses, wait to see if you hear things, observe everything that's going on?
It depends on the location and our experience with the location. So in this case, at Waverly Hills, since we've been here before, we've heard a lot of stories, done a lot of research, and investigated. We typically like to listen a lot because we hear the coughing, we heard it last time, so we can hear it again.
Of prolonged isolation, paranoia, depression, helplessness, brain stimuli decreases. Now, what happens when you put a man isolated in 3 paranormal infested buildings for 3 nights in each location, all by himself? No one to help me. No one to protect me. Just me versus you. Does paranormal activity increase?
So what do you think of this piece of evidence? I think by far it's the best piece of evidence we have seen here.
That's flat out amazing. And that's something we've never captured.
Oh, wow.
What? Nobody has ever got it on video.
That's creepy.
In 11 years.
So no one's ever caught this on video?
Never.
Ever.
Here is my story, and here is what I went through for my research into the paranormal.